India's first prime minister wasn't elected. He was stuffed down our throat long before the stroke of midnight when India awoke to life and freedom. In this Independence Day inspired series, where we shall track the chain of events from 1945 right until Gandhi's assassination in 1948, today in part 1, we explore how our beloved Bapu crowned the accidental prime minister whose blunders caused the partition and direct action. शुरुआत करते हैं 1945-46 के जनरल इलेक्शन से, which was the first step taken by the British in a planned transfer of power back to India after World War II. इन elections में कांग्रेस का utter domination रहा था. They swept the elections with a huge majority. So in line with the British plan, it was all but certain that going forwards, कांग्रेस का जो भी president होगा वो interim government को head करेगा and would also ultimately become India's first prime minister. Now, उसी टाइम दैट इज अप्रैल 1946 में मौलाना अबुल कलाम आजाद अपना रफली 7 साल का कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट का टेन्योर खत्म कर रहे थे और अब नए इलेक्शंस ड्यू थे. Basically, it was a certainty that whoever became the next Congress president after these elections would essentially become the prime minister going forwards. So, of course, the बात है, it generated a lot of interest from a lot of people, but मोटा मोटी 4 जनों का नाम float हुआ. Number 1 was Maulana Abul Kalam Azad himself again. Number 2 was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Number 3 was Acharya Kritlani, and number 4 was Jawaharlal Nehru. अब इन 4 नामों में से कांग्रेस की जो 15 प्रोविंशियल कांग्रेस कमिटीज थी, they were supposed to individually share their preference for who should become the next Congress president by 29th of April of 1946. But on 20th of April, father of our nation, Gandhi ji, asked Maulana Azad to withdraw his name and made it known to him कि उनकी preference Jawaharlal Nehru है. And so, by 26th of April, Maulana Azad stepped aside, leaving only 3 candidates, that is Vallabhbhai Patel, Acharya Kritlani, and Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, come result day on 29th of April of 1946, 0 provincial Congress committees voted in favor of Nehru. 12 out of 15 chose Sardar Patel and the rest chose Acharya Kritlani. On pure math alone, only 2 candidates remained. Nehru was finished. But then 9th of May 1946 को एक कांग्रेस वर्किंग कमेटी की मीटिंग ऑर्गेनाइज की गई to determine who will be the next president. हमारे beloved Bapu Gandhi ji was also part of this meeting, and his preference for Nehru was no secret to anybody. Knowing this, out of respect, Acharya Kritlani ने भी अपना नाम withdraw कर लिया. And so basically Vallabhbhai Patel was left as the last man standing. It was virtually done and dusted, a mere formality. Sardar Patel was about to become the next Congress president and ultimately the first prime minister of Bharat. But then came a 2-step Gandhian masterstroke. Number 1, गांधी जी के कहने पे आचार्य कृपलानी ने एक प्रपोजल इनिशिएट किया, as per which Nehru was unanimously elected as the working committee's choice for the next Congress president. This put Nehru back in the race, although abhi bhi he was still at a colossal disadvantage because Sardar Patel के पास में 12 regional Congress committees का support था. But then came step number 2. आचार्य कृपलानी ने फिर गांधी जी के कहने पे एक प्रपोजल इनिशिएट किया, as per which Sardar Patel was withdrawing his name to ensure Nehru's unanimous election as president. Sardar Patel ने ये प्रपोजल गांधी जी को दिखाया, effectively handing over the authority of choosing who is going to become the next Congress president to the supposed father of our nation. In spite of knowing everything and all the facts on the table, गांधी जी ने सरदार पटेल को उस प्रपोजल को अप्रूव करने को कह दिया, and Sardar Patel obliged. And so, lo and behold, Nehru ji became president of the Congress, and I would argue the first accidental prime minister crowned by our dear Bapu. Democracy pro max, meritocracy pro max, no favoritism at all. खैर जैसा भी है, side by side, the British cabinet mission was also working on overdrive to transfer power back to India. Now, just by the way, on a side note, there were already talks about the creation of the state of Pakistan at this point in time. But on 16th of May of 1946, cabinet mission ने एक plan present किया which ruled out the creation of Pakistan, calling it impractical. Instead, the mission proposed to keep India united under a federal structure with 3 provincial groups. Group A comprising of largely Hindu majority provinces like Madras, Bombay, UP and Bihar. and groups B and C comprising of largely Muslim majority provinces like Punjab, Northwestern Frontier Province, Sindh, Balochistan, Bengal and Assam. इसकी पीछे का आइडिया था कि जो भी सेंट्रल या यूनियन गवर्नमेंट बनेगी will have its powers restricted to just defense, foreign affairs and communication. All other powers stayed with the provinces within their respective geographical boundaries. Notwithstanding our personal opinion on this, ये प्रपोजल दोनों मुस्लिम लीग और कांग्रेस ने 25 जून 1946 तक अप्रूव कर दिया था. Basically, from within a month from that point in time, the interim government was to form and partition was virtually avoided. But then came a Nehruvian masterstroke. 10 जुलाई 1946 को soon after a Congress working committee meeting, उन्होंने एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में अपना मुंह खोला. Among other things, उन्होंने बोला कि कांग्रेस सिर्फ संविधान सभा में शामिल होने पर सहमत हुई है, लेकिन ये कैबिनेट मिशन की योजना में बदलाव और संशोधन करने के लिए भी आजाद है. This was exactly the kind of opening that Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founding father of Pakistan, was waiting for. He anyway had accepted the cabinet mission's proposal in a disgruntled way. So on 17 July of 1946, उन्होंने एक मुस्लिम लीग की मीटिंग बॉम्बे में ऑर्गेनाइज करवाई, जहां पर उन्होंने एक बहुत शानदार स्पीच दी, an excerpt of which I will be reading out for you now. हमने भारत की आजादी के लिए पाकिस्तान का बलिदान कर दिया था, लेकिन अब यह साफ हो गया है कि भारत की समस्या का एकमात्र हल पाकिस्तान का निर्माण है. मैंने हर संभव कोशिश कर ली है, लेकिन अब मुझे कोई उम्मीद नहीं दिखती. हम किसी अदालत में नहीं जा सकते. अब हमारे लिए एक ही अदालत है और वह है हमारी मुस्लिम कौम. Then, further on 29 July of 1946, from his residence in Malabar Hills in Mumbai, with a cigar in one hand and violent sparks in his eyes, he called for Direct Action Day on the 16th of August of 1946. Here's another excerpt from his speech. मुस्लिम लीग ने अपने पूरे इतिहास में हमेशा संवैधानिक तरीकों से ही काम किया है, लेकिन अब हम हर संवैधानिक तरीके को छोड़ने का ऐलान करते हैं. कैबिनेट मिशन से बातचीत के दौरान कांग्रेस और ब्रिटिश सरकार ने हमारे सर पर पिस्तौल तानी हुई थी. सरकार के पास अधिकार की पिस्तौल थी तो कांग्रेस के पास बहुमत की पिस्तौल थी. लेकिन अब मुकाबला होगा. आज हमने भी एक पिस्तौल उठा ली है. हम भी इसका इस्तेमाल करने की ताकत रखते हैं. अब समय आ गया है कि मुस्लिम कौम पाकिस्तान बनाने के लिए और अंग्रेजों व हिंदुओं की गुलामी से बचने के लिए डायरेक्ट एक्शन करे. Basically, a man who had virtually followed the law all his life, never been party to protest, never went to jail, was now throwing the kitchen sink at it for the creation of Pakistan. Soon after, on 31 July, the Muslim League and Jinnah told the Viceroy that the Muslim League will not join the interim government. फिर वाइसरॉय ने 12 अगस्त को अनाउंस किया कि तुम आओ, वी आर इनवाइटिंग नेहरू टू फॉर्म द इंटरिम गवर्नमेंट. The very next day, on 13th of August, Nehru wrote a letter to Jinnah seeking a meeting with the intention of winning his and the Muslim League's support in the forming and functioning of the interim government. Jinnah obliged. उसने बोला चलो मिल लेते, क्या फर्क पड़ता. So Nehru went to meet Jinnah on the 15th of August 1946, which is exactly 79 years ago. But Jinnah was very steadfast about, his opinions. And so the meeting was unsuccessful. The same day, as soon as, Nehru walked out of Jinnah's office, his sight met a black flag that was fluttering on Jinnah's terrace. And that flag, that black flag fluttering, was a dark omen about the horrors that were to unfold the very next day, that is on the Direct Action Day, in the city that we know as the City of Joy, Kolkata. More on that in the next video.